All right, we are live. Hey, everybody. Let's see. Here we go. Hey, everybody, sorry for being late. Just trying to get everything set up. No, Gary, I'm not taking a nap. Hey, Nate Walker. Just been busy this last week and a half. So it's been freaking crazy around my house lately. Um, just to kind of give you guys what's going on. I had all my stuff from Georgia get shipped to my house in California. So we have been going through unboxing mode for the last week, pretty much. Literally, it was Friday, my pod showed up. Saturday, unpacked the pod. Sunday, get more stuff out of the pod. Put more stuff back in the pod that I couldn't keep in the house. And then Monday, it shipped out. So I've been unpacking literally all week. Um, so as you can see, there's some stuff like over there, like all my fans' toys, Dinobots. Uh, there's going to probably be an updated collection video down the road, just to kind of show you guys what I have. And I did get a good chunk of my comics, so now I'm sitting around probably 2,000 comics in the house right now. Um, so yeah. So hey, Prulio, welcome in. Um, so yeah. All right. So tonight you've got me and BJ. Um, so Kyle will be joining us a little bit later. So definitely. Um, Throw your questions out. We don't have any specific topics, but I do have a couple of things I did want to bring up today, and that was because of this, because of the new previews that came out today. There's some good information in here, um, some cool stuff in here, just to show you guys. X-23 number one, Fantastic Four number one. So with that being said, all new Wolverine is going to end after this current arc that it's currently on, and X-23 will
Mm,
take over. Um,
mm,
and the reason being is because Wolverine is back. The real Wolverine is back, in the Marvel universe, so it is going to be one of those cool things to see how it transitions um, over into the new environment, especially with this way, the all new changed Marvel, as it's been changed three times in the last year, between regular then legacy. Now it's the refreshed Marvel, as they're calling it. So, but we are getting some cool stuff out of this. We're talking, um, Dan Slott, of course, is taking over Iron Man. We've got Donny Cates doing Venom. We've got Fantastic Fours coming back. Iron Man, Tony Stark is coming back, so it will no longer be Doctor Doom or Ironheart as the Iron Man. It'll be just back to Tony Stark. Incredible Hulk will be having a new book as well. With it, and it's actually, if you've been reading any of the Avengers No Surrender, we all know that Bruce Banner comes back as Incredible Hulk. Uh,
mm.
Spider Man is going to be changing up too because after issue 800, ASM Dan Slott will no longer be writing the book because he's going to be kind of busy doing other stuff. Same way with Donny Cates. And so Donny Cates is going to be a busy guy. We've got Cosmic Ghost Rider coming out. We've got, he's going to be doing Venom with Ryan Stegman from Spider Man. So he's going to be a busy guy. And he's still doing his independent stuff. He's still doing Redneck. He's still doing some of these other off the wall books too. So it's going to be real busy. What's cool about this one though is it kind of goes through all the new issues that's coming out. Of course, Captain America number one. Um, so transitioning from Alex Ross doing Spider Man, he's going to be doing Captain America's covers now. Um, and see, Nick Spencer, of course, is taking over Amazing Spider Man number one. Got The Life of Captain Marvel by Margaret Stoll. And if you've not read Margaret Stoll, she's actually a phenomenal writer. Her and Gail Simone and some of those female writers have been awesome writers.
Yeah.
That just haven't had time really to do this. talking about the Cosmic Ghost Rider. Here's the cover for #1 by Donnie.
All right.
So it looks awesome. Then, hey, Kyle.
Hey, what is up, guys?
Hey.
You just kind of side. There we go. Right side up now.
Yeah, hang on, I'm going to figure this out. My phone's been doing this lately. Like, anytime I tilt to the side, it doesn't actually go to the side. So, I'll be right back.
All right. So we'll wait for Kyle to get back to the rest of this because I know he's gonna be excited for some of these things in here. Um, but the cool part is you've been reading Infinity Countdown, right, BJ?
Yes.
You do know that it's going to continue after Infinity Countdown, right?
What, like an Infinity Watch kind of thing? Or we got a countdown? Oh, okay. Nope, didn't know that.
I didn't either, not till today. Infinity Wars. But what's
I
cool
usually
is
get the preview, but my LCS, I don't think it's been giving me any lately. Who dis?
all right.
Who did? New phone, right?
Kyle is actually right side up now. All right, so Kyle, we know where you were at, so no spoilers about the movie.
Not
Okay.
at all.
So Kyle, I was just showing. I got the new previews today,
Okay.
and it's all about the all new Legacy out
Okay.
there. So just showing some of the artwork. I figured you'd like some of this.
Very nice.
Let's see. Alex Ross is going to be doing Captain America
Nice.
for the covers. Lionel Francis Yu is coming back as the artist, though.
Nice.
Let's see. Your favorite comic, of course.
Ryan Stegman.
Actually, it's
It's Ryan Otley. Sorry, I got my
Brian Ollie, yeah.
Stegman's Venom.
Yep. Let's see, what was it? Okay, so I know you're going to be getting this book, just like I am.
Omni Ghost Rider.
Yep. Especially with Donnie and Dylan writing it. But where was the one? So I don't know if you guys read these or not. The 2 issues that came out earlier, I think it was last year or maybe this year. Grand Design. The first series was based upon the X-Men from the 60s, and the 70s. So it's the original X-Men. But this new one is going to be about the all new, all different X-Men. So we're talking Wolverine and Thunderbird and all of them from giant size X-Men. So yes, Colossus, people, Colossus. And then I just showed this to BJ, but coming out of Infinity Countdown, Infinity Wars.
Okay.
So,
and that's
it
going to
might be
redo the Marvel Universe again, right?
Of course. But the cool part is it starts with Prime, but look at the artwork. So this is some of the artwork for the interior. Mike Diodato is the actual artist. So he typically just does covers. He doesn't do a lot of like interior artwork.
Right.
So I'm excited to see his take on Thanos and those guys. Let's see. There was something else in here. I saw. Oh yeah, Immortal Hulk.
Nice.
So I might pick it up. I don't know. I'll probably pick the first issue up just to see if it's any good. But I don't know. But I'm actually excited for this one, for Dan Slott to be writing Iron Man.
I mean, let's be honest. He's been writing Iron Man for the last 2 years.
Yeah, but he gets to do it by himself for once.
Right.
He actually gets his name on the cover. But it's been pretty cool. And this one, Venom, being done by Donnie and Ryan Stegman. So I'm not going to spoil everything, but it talks about issue 4. But the catch being is if you've been reading Venom throughout lately, the actual symbiote has been taking over Eddie Brock's body at nighttime.
Right.
So he's been going out and doing his own thing. But the problem being is that Eddie doesn't know it at all. And there's a reason for that. And they're going to really start explaining it in the last couple of issues of Venom, then with the new series that's coming out with Donny Cates. So I thought that was cool how they're going to like stream it over. It's not going to be just a cut off, but and then it's going to go to the next story. It's going to be, hey, we're going to continue to keep going.
Nice.
And then this is going to be a sneaker issue that a lot of people probably won't pick up and they won't realize who it is.
Sentry.
Hey.
Yeah, the Century. A lot of people don't know about the Century. You know, I've read every Century story out there because I love the concept of the Century. You know, it's Marvel Superman. You know, but nobody remembers who he is.
Super dark and twisted though.
Oh, it
Yeah.
really is. It really is. I mean, did you read the original series by with Jay Lee and Eisenhoff?
I believe so.
No.
Because, well, I mean, it's been out so long. Because that's where he kills his wife, right?
So that's where he first comes back into the Marvel universe, and nobody remembers
Okay.
about it. That was the point where he didn't realize he was the same person yet. You know, that he's Bob Reynolds, the Void, and the Sentry all in one person.
Right.
And it's the whole time he's fighting against everything. But it was more of a remembrance saga of like he had fought with the Fantastic Four and with the X-Men and with everybody, and nobody remembers it because he wanted everybody to wipe it out.
Right.
But the cool part was is like he made all this up in his head, you know, and he's because he's a schizophrenic and he's bipolar. So he thought, hey, this is all fake and everything like that, and he just made it up. We all find out during the next century saga that came out was is that he was a druggie. He found this stuff in a what was that thing, a carnival or a circus, and he drank it because he thought he was going to get him high, you know. And it actually was a super serum, just like it was, you know, with Captain America, you know. But yeah, definitely. If you haven't read those, go back and read the Century, the first trade paperback, and then read the second one. I think it was like 8 issues or something like that. Read those, and then if you read New Avengers when it came out, when they brought the Century back into the Marvel universe, um, you'll learn that he actually realizes what's going on now, you know, and that's why he doesn't want anybody to really remember him because he doesn't want to have the same issues all over again. Because this is the same point where he threw Carnage into the sun, you know. And we still don't understand today is how is he still alive? You know, because in the Marvel universe, Carnage is still alive, the symbiote is still alive, but he got thrown into the sun. They never answered that question. All right, so and that's pretty much it. Oh, and I was telling BJ, all new Wolverine's ending. Because of X-23 is coming out as their own issue. Wolverine will come back out. I think it says it's going to be like a Wolverine #1, start all over again.
Right.
But Old Man Logan might be ending as well because of all the fallout from Wolverine coming in. So I don't know. I mean, it's like I've read some Old Man Logan and I really wasn't excited for it. There was some certain issues that were really good and some that were bad. It just felt like his story kept getting exaggerated and got reused because there was no Logan at the time.
Right.
Uh, so, Kyle, I do have a question. Now, we were talking yesterday and you said that you might be getting your artwork. Explain that.
Possibly. I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with everything. So yeah. So kind of a little backstory of what's going on. So for C2E2, I actually not commissioned, but I purchased a page of curse words, which if you guys watch our live stream, you know I'm a huge fan of this book. And Ryan Brown was going to be there, and so I bought page 4 of issue 1, which was where he was turning. If you've read the book, Johnny 1 into Johnny Platinum. One of my favorite pages in the book, and I just there's so many details in it I absolutely loved. Well, so basically my order was 3 pages. And it was actually interesting because I was talking to Ryan about this, and I guess originally they wanted curse words to be like a 58, like a 50, it was like a double-sized issue. But then I guess Image stepped in and was like, hey, maybe you guys don't want to do this. Just do a standard 32-page comic. Don't make it double sized. Let's make sure this sells well. So he actually scrapped a bunch of the pages and then kind of put the panels together and then made page 4. So the page I bought came with the actual published page and then came with 2 pages that they kind of took pieces from and made the final page. So what happened was I bought it through his art rep. His art rep was like, "Hey, how do you want it? Do you want me to mail it to you?" I'm like, "No, I want to pick it up at C2E2." So he sent it to Ryan, and then Ryan had it at C2E2. So when I went to the table, it was kind of funny. Ryan, I'm like, "Hey, I'm Kyle Phillips. I bought a page from you," and he was like, "Oh, really nice to meet you. Really, like, just really cool. We're talking back and forth." Reached into his portfolio, pulled it out. I couldn't see it. But he just looked at it really funny, and I was like, something's wrong. And he turns around and he was like, is this what you wanted? Is this what you bought? And I was like, well, it's part of it. And it was only one of the unpublished pages. So it wasn't the actual the published page I wanted, but it was part of the order. And Ryan was super cool. He was like, hey man, I'm really sorry about this. And he was like, I'm going to make this right. So he took my email address, took down my information, went ahead and gave me the unpublished page. And he was like, you're going to hear from my art rep and me soon. So not a big deal. So like, I think it was Monday, I heard from the art rep and he was like, hey man, really sorry about this. This doesn't, Brian had no idea what was going on. This is all on me. I was like, no problem at all. I understand these art reps I think he has like 30 or 40 artists that he manages. So mistakes, not a big deal. And it was really cool. And then he was like, as an apology, I'm going to send you a graded copy of Curse Words #1, signed by Charles Soule and Brian Brown. And I was like, not a big deal at all. And he's like, I'll send that out to you tomorrow. This was Monday after the convention. So I'm like, okay, cool, not a big deal. Just kind of let it go. And a week later, I still hadn't heard anything, hadn't received anything in the mail. So I just sent an email that Monday night, just saying, hey, I know things are super busy, but you said you were going to send out at least the graded comic the next week or the next day. I haven't received that. Haven't received anything. Just want an update. Well, then I let 36 hours pass. I didn't get any email, anything back. So I was like, hey, I need to escalate this just a little bit. So I actually contacted Ryan. And then immediately within probably half an hour of contacting Ryan, I got an email from the art rep. Basically, he kind of got a little bit short with me, which this isn't what I wanted. But he basically refunded my money in full. And then was like, I sent the graded comic yesterday. Now this is a week later after when he said he was going to. He said he sent it the day before, and then his exact words were, "When I get around to it, I'll send you your pages." So another week went by. I still hadn't received anything. So at that point, I chalked it up as they gave me my money back. I'm not getting the comic. I'm not getting the page. I have an unpublished page. Not what I wanted, but it is what it is. But no, was it yesterday or Monday? I don't remember what day it was, but yeah, it ended up the actual comic ended up showing up at the house. So I at least got that. But the funny thing was, he said that he sent. I talked to him on a Tuesday. He said he sent it Monday. I looked at the actual tracking information. He didn't send it until that Thursday of the week. I'm having my wife is laughing because I'm having some issues with it because I don't like the fact that he's still sending me this stuff and he gave me my money back. I know that I know Ryan probably agreed to this, and the art rep obviously knows what he's doing, but I just don't like them sending me things I didn't pay for, especially with artists, because this is one of a kind type stuff that I can't get anywhere else. And I don't want a bad relationship between an art. Like, I know Ryan will never remember me, but I don't want. I'm struggling with this a lot, especially if I get the pay, because I mean, like I said, it's from issue 1, uh, and I'm not like I didn't want my money back. I just wanted an update of when I could expect these pages. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get the pages or not at this point. It's just kind of wait and see. But I did get the graded comic, so yeah, it's all still kind of up in the
There's
air
that.
right now. So it sucks too because now I feel like because of this transaction I can't use this art rep anymore. And he does like Jeff Lemire. He's the art rep for West Craig, which is Deadly Class artist. He does the art rep for Deacon Shavley. I mean, a lot of artists I absolutely love. He's the art rep for, and part of me is like, man, if you're gonna be doing these like huge names, maybe you should be a little bit more organized. But the other part of me is like, I don't know. I keep going back and forth on the whole thing. But yeah, so I'm kind of stuck in limbo right now. I mean, if I get them, cool. If not, like I said, they gave me my money back, even though it's not what I asked for.
Well, and it sucks. We've been there before too. It's like just like when you go to a con. We've all been where you wanted a sketch cover done, and it's like I spent $30 or $50 on that.
Right.
And it's like okay. And yeah, it's cool that you got your artists to do it, and then you had your writers and inkers to sign it and whatnot. But it's the same principle. It's like, you want something good, and you went through a lot of effort as well to do this in the background before C2E2 even started.
Right.
So I agree. That dude is the most misorganized person in the world. It's got to be. We're talking. So let's just make it easy. Okay, I go to eBay. I go buy something on eBay. I get it shipped to me. I get a tracking number.
Right.
End of story.
Yep.
It should have been the same thing even with the artwork. Artwork is you bought it.
Yep.
The dude gets it from Ryan, because Ryan's probably the one who has it. Ryan says, "Here you go, art rep. Go mail it, or make sure you bring this with you to the con." Not where you only got the one unpublished page. That is very.
So this actually, the art rep had all the work. And I think that's where the issue lies. Ryan didn't have it. It was basically the art rep had it. He sent it to Ryan, but the only thing he sent was that unpublished page. He didn't send the other 2 pages. And Ryan obviously didn't know, like, personally what I had bought, or else like he would have known that wasn't it from the get go. Yeah. So actually, like, pretty much like Ryan. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't like Ryan had nothing to do with this at all. Like, he had no idea. And I let him know. I'm like, dude, I'm not in no way, shape, or form am I upset with you at all. And really, I'm not. I go back and forth. I'm not really upset with the art rep. I just wish there was like. I don't think it's that hard to be like, hey, I didn't make it to the if a day or two, fine. But if it's going to be a week and you still haven't sent me anything after you said you were doing it the next day. Like, I get stuff happens, but just shoot me an email. It's like easy enough to say like, hey, I wasn't able to make it to the post office for a week. Something came up, perfectly fine. But when you're talking about $300 that I've already paid, I paid them back in February, so they've had my money for a very long time, and not like no communication. That's where I got a little bit frustrated. Like I said, I did get this, so.
Hey, Kyle, do you have the agent's address when he mailed it to you?
I do.
You should send him a planner with a check in there saying, "Nah, I want the stuff."
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have his PayPal stuff. Like, I don't know. So.
You should send him a planner anyways.
Maybe put the lying cat, the image that you gave me, like make a sticker right on. But, so yeah, so it's a waiting game now to see if I actually get anything or not. But we'll see.
Yeah, and it sucks too that you had to go through all that because you were just trying to go 3 pages. That was it. That's all you were trying to do.
And the funny thing is, honestly, I could if he wouldn't have sent the 2 unpublished ones, I wouldn't have cared at all because I mean it was cool to get those, but what I wanted was, the actual published page
Mm-hmm.
of him turning Johnny into platinum. Yeah, if he would have just sent that, I would have been, there wouldn't have been any issues at all. I wouldn't even have asked Ryan. Like, I don't care about the other two, but because it wasn't the published one, that's where I was like, because like, and that's the thing. Like Ryan's prices are actually insanely cheap for original art, and that was kind of like
Damn.
where I was having issues was like because I bought one of the most expensive pages outside of a cover, I bought pretty much the most expensive page that he had because that's the page that I absolutely love the most, and it was from issue one. So yeah, like I had a hard time swallowing, when he's like selling a splash page of Wizard fighting one of the other characters for $150, and then I spend 300 on an unpublished page. That's where I was kind of like, it's a little bit hard to swallow.
Oh, I bet it
Uh,
was. I mean, it's the same thing. I'm actually trying to work on a page from Neil Adams right now,
oh.
and that is let's just say it has to do with Green Lantern. So
Yeah.
if that just tells you the ballpark, and most likely it's from either issue 76 or 77.
Okay.
So it's up there. I'll tell you that. But the catch being is that at least they were communicating back. That's the main thing. Because if the dude would at least communicated and told you that,
Yep.
it would have put you at ease.
Yep.
And that's a huge thing.
Yep. I'd have no issue at all if you just would have, just a little update. Like, you didn't have to send it. Just say, hey, something came up. I'm still looking for it, whatever it is. That's the other thing. He keeps telling me he has to find it. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know where published pages are for your artists, uh, that's a red flag in my book.
Yeah, I don't think you should
Uh,
be doing that kind of line of work then.
Right. Well, and that's like, and not, I don't want this turn into, because I'm not going to give his name. I'm not going to give the company's name. Uh, that's the other thing that kind of bothered me a little bit. Ryan actually said like this was the third or fourth time that this art rep had messed up in the last couple months. Um,
Mm.
right, and that was
mm-hmm.
part of the reason why I was a little bit more not I don't want to say aggressive, but like I made sure to get updates. Was I was because that made me a little bit nervous when this is something that's happening a lot. But so yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it sucks though, because I mean, you sent money, you want a thing, you
Yep.
should be able to get the thing, so to speak. You
Right.
know,
Right.
because that's everything we do. Even like if we just buy comics or toys or whatnot, it's a fee for service, kind of thing. And if you can't handle that, then you don't need to be doing that. Period. And I'm sorry if he's been having that many issues just with Ryan. That's just one artist. You said he's doing multiple artists.
Yep.
He might be doing it across the board, so you might not be the only person that's been affected like this. And to me, as
Right.
as a business manager where I work at, if I have somebody like that, they're let go. I'm sorry. You're talking about a lot of money being spent by consumers, and consumers have the right to say, "Where's my stuff?" So I'm sorry. Nah, if I was Ryan, I'd give him the boot.
Or hire an assistant.
Right.
Exactly, because I mean that's the catch. Is like if it's too much work for you to do as one person, then that means you need a counterpart. You need a
Right.
subordinate to say, "Hey, I need help to do this. I can't do everything on my own." Because it was probably fine when he first started out, because these
Right.
guys weren't big names at that point. Now they are. They blew up, so they're real big. And so guess what? A lot of people are going to ask questions and want stuff from them. So he needs to either turn his workload up higher or have people help him support him,
Yep.
or get out of the ballpark and let somebody else handle it that can handle it.
Yeah. You're,
But at least you did get the signed book in. At least you got one of the things in that you said that you were supposed to get.
I did, and this thing I don't know if you guys have seen this. So this is the 1 in 50 variant, and
Hmm.
it's probably not coming through very. But so basically, the entire thing is glitter, which is really kind of cool. So yeah, I don't really get the cat why there's a cat and a beard on it, and on the back there's a little cat looking through lasers. But yeah, I mean, it was a cool. It was actually I was looking at buying this cover anyway, but they wanted $50 for it at the con, so I was kind of like, that's just a lot for one variant. But yeah, so this is the 1 in 50, and then it is the yellow label signed by Charles Soule and Ryan Brown. So at least I get that, and I will definitely have this displayed. Yeah, like very proudly.
You know, they make like CGC like frames as
Right.
well. You know, you
Yep.
put them into it. You know, it's just I
Really?
got no room to put all mine out, but and then there's a couple that's coming here in about a month. I'm getting back from CGC. Um, yeah, you guys are probably gonna crap your pants when you see them. Yeah, it's not gonna. It's I will say it's an artist you like, um, Kyle, and then it's also a book that you love as well.
All right.
So
God Country.
no, it's a lot older than God and Country.
Okay. Huh.
So
Um,
I'm interested.
you're gonna have to wait and see because I really want to see what it comes back rated as. I really do because I sent two books out to CGC, so I'm excited to see what they come back as. It'll take forever and a day like they always do, but hey, at least they'll get them back.
Right.
Sleepwalker #1.
It's not in the I'll say it, it's not in the 80s, 90s, or today. It's all 60s and 70s.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you'll have to wait and see.
Mike or not?
But I did bring up a topic. We actually had a huge question and a huge discussion on Syndi-Comics for the last 2 weeks. It was about CGC, CBCS, and
Mm.
grading and things like that. And we didn't have it last week, and I was going to bring it up. So I did want to talk about it a little bit today for CGC, CBCS, PGX, and all the different people. If this is the first time you're stream to our stream, then you might not know, but I am a grader for both CGC, CBCS, as well as PGX, and I'm an authorized witness for both CBCS and CGC. Um, so with that being said, I'm one of like a million people that does this job. You know, there's a lot of us that do this work. And working with CGC, we as graders have different purviews and different perceptions of what things should be graded as. So there's been a lot of commonalities between graders that say, hey, it should be a 9.8 or a 9.4, or no, this 1930s golden age is a 2.0 or a 3.0, you know. So I kind of want to explain a little bit. So when we talk about grading, we start at 10, 10 being gem mint. I've seen one book at 10, and that's it. And that was at CGC itself in Florida. And that was ASM 129. And I was blown away. And the reason being is
Okay.
it literally came straight from the factory at Marvel and then was put into a Mylar, put into an area where it was never seen again for 30 years, and then brought to CGC. And that was because it was a worker's copy that worked at the actual factory. That's where you're going to see a lot of gem mints is factory workers who submit them straight to CGC from the factory. That's where you'll see those. But in regards to grading, when we start at 10, we start looking at everything. I have a huge kind of formula I go through when I grade books. I look at big things. Is the cover attached? Is there any pages missing? Is there rips? Is there tears? Tears, it will actually depreciate your book faster than anything, depending on the size of the tear. If it goes from a half inch to a 3 inch or to a 4 inch, you know, it's a huge issue. Staples are the big part. A lot of old books have oxidation. So if you have rust on your staples, it means you got rust through your paper. So guess what? 5.0. That's usually that's what you're going to get or lower because if you have rust on it, because you've literally ruined the book. And that's usually nobody's fault, but just age and humidity, where people have them stored in areas. Attics are the worst places to have comics, by the way, if you didn't know. As well as basements, unless it's a sealed basement, you know, where it's actually constructed, you know. Kyle, I think yours is actually a basement, right, where you're at?
Yes.
Yeah, so like yours is set up the right way, where it's in a finished basement where there's sealant, there's stuff like that, so moisture doesn't really come in and get out.
Mhm.
Unfinished basements are the worst because you have water heaters, and all the humidity that's generated by a water heater. What happens in most people's books when they go into an area like that, they put them right next to the damn water heater. So, guess what? You're going to get a lot of humidity, which is going to cause oxidation on a lot of books, regardless if they're in a bag or board or not. That can still happen. People don't realize that because bags go old after about 5 years. So you should replace your bags and boards every 5 years with the proper sized bags and boards. There's specific ones made for golden, silver, and then bronze and modern could typically fit in the same type of current bag. I mean, these are the ones I use, and this is just my LCS ones. They're just standard current bags. I've got another thing of silver and golden ones as well, just for that reason. Um, so those are the big issues I typically look at when I first start off in a book. Cover, pages, and then staples is a big thing. Spine splits is a one that's usually predominant on a lot of older 60s books because the paper wasn't made as well as it was in the 50s and then the 60s, 70s and up. So if you ever see a Silver Age that's typically split, it's because of the way the factory was done because they used a different type of paper. If you guys remember in the old comics, you used to have the old dot drawings on most of our comics. It's because of the way the factory used to actually print them out on the runner. Because you used to have a sheet filler, and that filler would come through, and it would have dots on it. So, yeah, that's always the fun ones. Some other things that I really look for now is I'm looking for corners. Of course, having a flat book with sharp corners is always great. Rounded corners takes you down at least a half a point to a point. So depending on what the book was, it was starting out at a 9.8. Now you're down to a 9.2 at least, or an 8.5. So just be careful with that. Um, Things you can do to help these things is one, when you get your book, put it in a bag and board, especially if it's a brand new modern book. Do that automatically. That should be common sense. And then two, make sure you store it in a comic box. Don't just throw it in a big box full of other stuff because if it is, it's just going to shake around and get messed up. Or if you put them on a display, in an actual frame, there's frames for comics as well. You can put them in too. So definitely do those kind of things. Um, Spine breaks. That's so if you hear that term or spine ticks, as it's called sometimes in place, or stress marks, those are when somebody holds it and bends it just a little bit like that while they're trying to read it, or it's being bent over in a way that's going to break the cover. Those will take off automatically. Anywhere from point 0.2 to point 0.5 per spine tick on a book, depending on the severity of it. If it doesn't break color, that will lessen it. That's a big thing. Worst covers in the world are black covers. Black covers are the easiest ones in the world to get spine ticks on, and it's just because of the way the book is made. You can always see it. Some other things we've been noticing a lot lately is people to understand what marble chipping is. Do you guys understand what that is?
It's like what actually like flake like the cover flakes off, right?
Yeah, so typically on books from the 50s and 60s, they typically the paper wasn't made used the best paper on it, so the cover would kind of chip off, and so would the pages. People don't realize that does not take away from the grade of a book. That is a factory issue, and that is nobody's fault. So I typically don't take off for that. DC actually has the same scenario, but it's called the spine split from the '60s books. Like I was talking about a little bit earlier, DC's was notorious for that, especially on the top. You see a lot of DC books with spine splits at the top. It's because of the covers weren't made as thick as the pages themselves. If you actually feel the texture of those cover pages, sometimes they're the same thickness as the page itself.
Huh.
So the cover should be a little bit thicker than the actual page. And that was some of the issues we used to see all the time for especially Silver Age books. Bronze Age, it got a lot better. They made it a lot better in those kind of quality. But yeah, marble chipping, DC spine splits, that does not affect the grade as far as certain things. That's like I said, silver books. Um, Now, if you have a spine split on a book just because you're mishandling it, I can tell the difference on that, by the way. That means somebody was pulling it back or they pulled it a little bit out, so it ripped a little bit. That's different. I can tell that because a spine split from a DC is typically right in the middle, straight down. Usually, most spine splits are adjacent to that middle, so usually like a little bit, a centimeter or 2 centimeters off to the center is where somebody's was doing like this, or they were pulling it. Or, usually that's what happens for those spine splits. Um, so something else that was brought up too. We were talking about signatures. So let's talk about signatures for a little
Oh
bit.
yeah.
Everybody always talks about that. Is okay. Here's your golden rule for signatures. In the old days, we used to have an authentication program that would go out there and do that for you. Make sure that they would go out and authenticate that the signature was original, and then you would get a yellow label. As you guys can tell, that's no longer the way with CGC. CGC, you actually have to have a witness with you when it's signed, or if CGC is processing it at a con for you with the 1 day service. Um, they don't do that a lot at cons. There's only a very few cons they do that in a year. I think they did at Baltimore. They did at NYCC. They're not doing it at SDCC this year. So there's only very few cons that do that. So, but here's your catch 22. There is a usually anywhere from 20 to 30 CGC reps walking around at a con, at a bigger con, of course. So when you get to a con, go to that CGC booth, say, hey, I'm gonna get some books signed. I need you to help authorize it, as a signature. Usually costs like $10 or $5. But make sure you drag that person with you. That way you can submit the books at the con and they can submit those to Florida to get them signature and you'll get a yellow label. CBCS, they still have an authentication program. So they will go and validate the signatures a lot of times for you. Um, if they have proof. So let's talk about proof. Okay, John Boy signing the picture 20 years ago is not proof. Okay, we need a COA and a real COA, not just a written piece of paper saying I signed it and I authorized it. No, we need a real COA that's actually acknowledged by the grading companies. So that is a big issue. We used to get, what was it? Midtown Comics. Midtown Comics used to do thousands of those certificates of authenticity. At one point, we didn't accept them for that reason because they were doing it for every book they had out there. But then they learned that, hey, they need to pull back for only authorized signatures. And typically what Midtown does now is they'll bring an actual rep with them, CGC and a CBCS rep there. That way, when they do the COA, you can get somebody to look at it and you can submit at the same time. But those COAs are big for CBCS now. Photos, if they are photos of, say, you and the artist, and you show them signing, and it's the actual book that is signing it, you need that plus a COA to go with the book. And that helps out with the authentication program. If not, you might get a qualified grade back. It might not be a full yellow label, CBCS or CGC. So just my advice, if you're going to get something signed, take a rep with you at all times. Find them. Usually they have a CGC tag or a CBCS. Yeah, go that route. Now, if you guys notice, I haven't talked about PGX much. Um, so in the community, PGX is not really taken seriously, and there's a reason for that. Um, if you go on eBay and you look up how many, PGX 10.0s, there's a lot of them out there. They overgrade on a lot of books. So they do not take a lot of things into consideration. Tears are looked at differently. They look at, um, what was it they were looking at last time? Oh, white, off-white, cream color pages. They don't really take off a lot for those compared to CGCS and CBCS do. Um, so PGX does their own thing pretty much. And yeah, no. Oh, and by the way, GPA doesn't acknowledge them as a grading in their book. So if you want to check out what your actual value of your slabs is, use GPA or use comicspriceguide.com. They're both done amazingly. My buddy Rick Farrow runs comicspriceguide.com. He used to work for Overstreet. And so Overstreet, of course, is the big daddy of GPA, so that those would be the two I would highly advise if you're going to be looking at slab grading on it. eBay is not the best source in the world to use for grades. I'm going to tell you that right now. And the reason being is because that book could have been $10 yesterday and $100 tomorrow. And guess what? The way the sold value goes on is what's lowest and what's the highest and what's the medium. That's how comic book realm gets their prices a lot of times. They'll take the highest and lowest, divide by 2. There you go. There's your value. Um, so, yeah, steer away from comic book realm. That's just my advice. You're not going to get decent prices. They're eBay prices only. They're not actual long-term graded like Comics Price Guide is, GPA. There's a GoCollect.com. That's another good one. Go Collect has been doing a lot of stuff lately where they actually give you all the information about the slabs, about the signatures. That's typically what they do. It's mostly slabs, but that is just an option as well. Um, so that is a lot about CGC and CBCS. PGX, avoid like a plague. Avoid like the plague. That's what I'm just telling you. Don't submit it. I mean, I get books all the time that are PGX, and I usually want to crack them right back open and resubmit them just for that reason. I think I got a couple coming in the mail like that. I'm probably just going to crack them back open and send them to CBCS or CGC because they were probably overgraded, and I'll probably take a look and be like, "What the heck? What are you doing?" You know. So, do you guys have any questions about grading and stuff like that? I know I gave a lot of information out tonight, but you guys have questions? Yes, BJ.
All right, when you get
Love you,
the
Ryan.
when you get the book in back in, it comes in that plastic cover. Do you want to keep that plastic cover on there?
Yes, keep that plastic cover on that slab if you get one. The reason
Okay.
is that plastic bag is intended to protect the actual slab. It's not intended to protect the book at all. It's intended just to keep the book from the slab from being cracked, scratched, and stuff like that. And you
All
can
right.
still see through. It's clear plastic. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
keep them on there if you have them. And I think there's actually I don't know. I think Michaels used to carry them. They used to have these plastic ones that used to go around them as well. They were like different colors, like blue, pink, yellow, green, you name it. And, they were like these little plastic things you could put around the slab. It's just to protect if you dropped it, on so you don't break a corner or something like that. But yeah, don't waste your money on those. Those are junk. They're just saying, hey, let me make some money off of comic guys. Just keep it in the plastic bag and keep it, away from things.
And definitely don't use the frames you get at Second of Charles either. Those things are junk.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I've seen some of
Waste
those when I was
$5
down
on it.
in Georgia. They didn't look so good. Looked like they were about to fall apart as soon as you got it.
I mean, they're fine if it's not like an advent collector and there's like somebody who likes a certain character and you want to give it as a gift like that. It's not like nothing a very like high end grade comic book that's worth so much. That's fine like that, but otherwise, hell no.
We had a question from Bumblebee85 has toys. Says, what if the slab becomes scratched? Does that diminish the overall value? No, not at all. What we're looking is that it doesn't get scratched to the point where it cracks, because we all know scratches over time can deepen, and if it cracks, now you just opened up the book. So, yeah, no. So yeah, scratching, you're fine. Don't worry about that. And it says, can they be replaced? So there is a replacement service as well for slabs, especially with CGC. So it's called it's like what was it called? A reslab or something like that. and it's like $15. That's how much it usually costs. And it's literally you just want to get the slab replaced. It's already been graded and everything like that, and it's just to get it into a newer case. Typically, what happens is when people mail slabs out, they get cracked, and that is typically when they need to be redone again. So like the one I sent Kyle, yours came out. You saw how I packed it,
Oh
So
yes.
there's a reason why I pack like that. It's because I've had slabs crack before in shipping, and you learn that by tricks of the trade. That's just kind of how it goes. Um, because yeah, I think I did bubble wrap, I did an envelope, and then I did a box.
It was like 15 boxes.
Yeah, it was bad. Um, but I mean, it's the same thing. I do that with most books too, though. When I
Right.
ship a book out, it's going to be the same thing. I mean, BJ's not here right now, but I've got a stack of books about this thick for BJ. I'm going to send his way, you know, of X-Men and those kind of things. And they have
What's
a
that?
it's a shipping service called Gemini mailing service, and Gemini makes their own comic, literally their own comic shippers. And typically, what I'll do is I'll take two of the Gemini shippers, put it together, and then put some styrofoam or some bubble wrap on the inside around the books, and you're golden. You ain't got to worry about them. They're hard cardboard. They're not going nowhere. But yeah, see, Pearlia says they do a lot of shipping and the services are awful. Yeah, only person who's going to ship your books the best is you. Don't let UPS, don't let FedEx touch them. Don't. If you want them safe, oh, and remember, put insurance on your books. If you do priority mail, you automatically get $50. So if the book is not more than $50, you don't need to do additional. But there's certain books I have that are $1,000, $2,000 in value. Yeah, they have that level of insurance with them because if something happens, I'm getting my money back. You know.
True that.
All right. Like I said, I hope that kind of helps, and I hope the dude's here. That was asking all those questions a couple weeks ago. Um, but yeah, there's a lot going on right now, especially in the community. They are getting a lot stricter on a lot of books lately. CGC is getting really strict on a lot of their stuff, especially from going from a 9.4 to a 9.8. They're looking at a lot of strict things on that. Most common question I have is, what's the difference between a 9.4, a 9.6, and a 9.8? A spine tick. That is what we're looking for. Spine ticks, rounded corners at all, and then if there's any interior pages that's torn. That's your biggest difference to go from a 9.4 to a 9.8. Um, so, all right. And Bumblebee has a question. Is there any point CGC in a book will get a low grade just because it's rare? Okay.
It'd be super rare.
So let's
Like
think
Amazing
about that.
Spider-Man #1.
Yeah. So like if I had ASM number one, I'm definitely slabbing that book, because just the
Oh yeah.
cost value. Low grade or not, I would definitely slab books like that. If you know that it's going to cost you more to slab a book than the value of the book is, nah. Nah. And we're talking like I think it's what, $16 or no, $25 to ship for standard service, and then 66 for fast track per book. So if your book's not valued at that, unless it's like something that's special to you, that has sentimental value, I would just leave it in a raw format. I mean, it's not doing anything different. I mean, I've got some books I've got slab because they had some significant value to me. Like I have Uncanny X-Men 200. That was one of the first books I picked up. I had that slabbed, and it's worth like $12. It's not worth a whole lot of money. Um, but the value of a slab book is typically double than a raw book. So that is kind of the catch. But that typically doesn't start off though until you're above an 8.0. So just keep that in mind. 7.5 8.0. I mean, that's where you start seeing the value kind of go like this. As far as raw and CGC. is that usually at those grades and higher. Typically below that, it's the value of the slab is the same as a raw book, because there's really no difference. All right. Now, I got something today that's going to piss off Kyle at the end.
I see. I can't be mad at you anymore. Like, there's literally nothing you could do that I can mad at you about anymore.
So, show them what I sent you if you have it close by.
Oh, I do. Of course, I do. So yeah. So this is what Nate sends me for my birthday. For those of you who don't know, Deadly Class is my favorite book. Rick Remender is my favorite writer, and he was. I can't even talk about it. Like, it means so much to me. I kid you not. Yeah, so he sends me a graded copy of Deadly Class #1. This is what the Comic Book Relief Fund variant.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So this was one of the variants that they did for the comic book, like, kind of artists and writer creator relief fund. But yeah, so this was the number one issue, signed by Rick Remender, graded, and completely unnecessary. But you have no idea what this means to me, man. So yeah, so this is what he sent me. So everybody knows. Yeah.
And he got a reader copy with it.
I did.
Wonder how he got your address.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there, like, when he sent me the text of, like, something in the mail, and I was like, I don't think I remember giving my address. I'm like, oh, I gave it to BJ.
Yeah, I figured you might like that one. That was kind of the whole intent, is to kind of tick you off through that last live stream when I got it, just to kind of build it up a little bit, It worked. It was worth it.
That's the best thing is, like,
my birthday's in November.
Like, when you were teasing that, I was like, it better not be anything Remender, else I'm quitting. They're like, no, this is Remender. This is Deadly Class #1.
Yeah, I know, kid. And when I saw that at the LCS, I'm like, I know who needs that book,
Nice.
And don't worry, BJ.
Front and center on top of my image, where I keep all my image trades. It's going front and center right on top of that bookshelf.
All right, so Perlio asks, so if you get a book slab, do you get another less quality one to read if you wanted to go through it again? Yes. I mean, perfect example, just like what I did with Kyle. I gave him a slabbed one and a reader one to go with it. And sometimes the reader ones is actually harder to find than the slabbed ones. I literally got lucky that day. I was looking through my LCS. They had their back issues. They had 2 copies of that one. They had one that it wasn't as good quality on the reader copy. I think it was like a 7.0. I think the one I sent you was like an 8 or an 8.5. It was a pretty good quality one. But yeah, I do that a lot too. If it's something I want to have graded, I'll have 2 copies of it. Send one, the best version to go get graded, and then keep the one that's lesser to read. I got tons of books like that. I mean, I've got books here from the 60s and 50s that are still not slabbed. It's just because they're not worth it. They're awesome books, but it's just not worth it, in my opinion.
Or you could buy the trade. Do what I do. Buy the trade.
Exactly. Well, but the problem with trades now, though, is that you got to spend $125 on Omnibus to get some of those issues to read.
That's true.
Or the DC premieres now. It's like, for example, X-Men. I've got a bunch of Silver Age X-Men. X-Men 22, 23. Okay, that book is a $15, $30 book, maybe. If it's a high grade, it'd be way up there. But for mid grades, $15, $20. You got to go buy the Omnibus from Uncanny X-Men, which averages from $200 to $300 now because it's out of print. If you want to read that book, so I'm like, I'm gonna go buy the individual issue, if I want to read that specific one. So a lot of it depends on the actual book you want to read. I read a lot of silver and a lot of bronze. I read modern too, but if I'm gonna go somewhere, I'm gonna go read something from like that. All right. So we've been out for 2 weeks, and so everybody that's online, and Sith AF, thank you. He was the one who actually was asking us. I didn't know it's the same person, So Sith, I was glad you were here to see this, man. Um, so we've been gone for 2 weeks. I got a lot of stuff in. I got something special I want to kind of show you guys. I'm going to unbox it tonight.
Uh-oh.
So it's really special. You're never going to see it again, probably, um, unless you go to a convention and find it at a convention.
Great.
Okay. So yeah, I'll let you guys go first. See what you got. I'm gonna go get it.
Kyle, you go first since you haven't been here in like 2 weeks.
All right.
3 weeks.
Yeah. So first thing, I'll show you what I already showed. So yeah, Nate gave me Desert Class #1, Flab. Then, as you didn't see, I got Curse Words #1. This is the 1 in 50 variant, 9.8. Flab. And then, let's see. I picked up, I think this is everything I got. I don't know. It's been a while. So I picked up from C2E2. I picked up Rock Candy Mountain. This was volume 2. This actually just today was nominated for an Eisner, which is like the Oscar of
All right.
Oh yeah.
got nominated for Best Humor Publication, and this book is phenomenal. It's only 2 volumes, so I think it's only 8 issues long, but fantastic book. So pick this up. And then also from C2E2, Image had their own booth there, and they had a couple exclusive hardcovers, specifically to C2E2. And so I picked up God Country.
That was nice.
My favorite book of all time. So I picked up, this is the whole series in this hardcover. And I picked up Killer Be Killed, Volume 1. They had a nice hardcover of that. Picked that up as well. Oh, and it was really funny. So, like, have you guys read Oblivion Song?
Yep. I read the first issue.
I literally have 4 issues of that right now.
Which one?
Oblivion Song #1. All because anytime you went to the Image booth, if you spent over $30, you got a free copy in your bag. And so, like, I went to the Image booth first, got the 2 Saga Pops I couldn't find because one was an Image exclusive. Got both of those. That was over $30. So they gave me a copy of Oblivion Song #1. Then I went back. I saw the God Country, so I went back, bought that later in the day. That was over $30. So they gave me another copy of Oblivion Song. And then I went back after I realized I didn't have any other money I wanted to spend. I'm like, okay, I really want to buy that Killer Be Killed. Bought that. So then they gave me another copy of Oblivion Song #1. So if anybody wants a copy of Oblivion Song #1, all right.
We both did.
All right. Oh.
Mine was sold out. I had to read mine digitally.
All right. Cool. So I will send this to you guys then. So yeah, it's really funny. I was like sitting there, I'm like, what am I gonna do with 4 copies of Oblivion Song #1? So I picked up those, and then that was everything I got at C2E2 comic wise. And then this week I picked up Peter Parker, Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 2. This is Chip Zdarsky's writing this. This is probably, I think, my favorite Spider-Man book out right now. A lot of fun. It's kind of throwback to old Spider-Man. So I think that's pretty much all I picked up.
All right. How about you, BJ?
Me? I got a good bit, man. It was a lot. We got the Damnation #4. That was a good one. X-Men Blue 26. I got the Hunt for Wolverine, the variant.
Nice.
The Cyberforce #2. That was a good one. Labyrinth Coronation #3. I like that cover. See, that right there is like kind of like a prequel of what they're talking about. And you're kind of like telling the story about it. when he first grabs his baby and stuff like that with another goblin. I mean, Saga 51, of course. I started grabbing the Venomize because my LCS was saying if you buy issue number 1, you can get number 2 for free. So I was like, okay. So I started getting the variant ones so you can put them all together.
Nice.
And then you pull the trigger of my love gun, love gun. There you go. Good Barrett. Chris Sims. Such a good comic, man.
Mine doesn't carry
I
that
got
one.
lucky. Huh?
Mine doesn't carry Kiss versus Ash versus Evil Dead.
It's terrible. I got lucky at Target. They put the wrong price sticker at Target for a movie, so I got Iron Man 2 for $15.
Nice.
So that was nice. Yeah. Figure wise, what are you doing over there? So loud.
Well, the dude taped it to high heaven.
Yeah. I got a X23. I had a $5 off coupon. Yeah, I got $5 off at GameStop, so I picked this up for like $16.
Oh, I got one of those.
I got I found 4 long. This is really good detail on it. And then I won another raffle for $6. I got the SH Figure Arts Japanese version of Star-Lord.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the fist pump, bro. It's pretty good. I like it. It's they're shorter than the Legend figs, but really articulated, nicely detailed. And that's it.
All right, y'all ready?
Sure.
All right. So
I want to know what's behind you.
this is 2 weeks worth, and this isn't even all of it. Cable 156.
Nice.
X-Men Gold 26. Did you get this one, BJ?
Yeah. I don't think you got to tap on your screen, bud.
Oh yeah. Thank you. All right. Cable. X-Men Gold. Weapon H number 2. Weapon X 16. I love these covers from Weapon X. X-Men Blue 25. X-Men Blue 26. All New Wolverine 34.
Is that Doom in the back here?
Yep. So this is probably gonna be one of the last sagas for All New Wolverine. This is Old Man Laura or Old Lady Laura. I forgot what they called her. So this is the same kind of thing where she's in the future, but she's actually dying. So it's kind of a cool story that they're doing. You might want to go grab this one. Exiles number 2. First appearance of Valkyrie from the MCU universe and Marvel universe. So, and this, ASM $7.95. Because my LCS sucked when they were doing the transition, I didn't get ASM for 3 months. They're making it up to me though. ASM $7.99. Venomize 3 regular cover. Venomize 3 the connecting Bagley cover. So yeah, I love these connecting covers. Yep, Mark Bagley's the actual artist.
Yeah.
And this one's a cool variant though for number 3. I like this one.
That almost looks like Scotty Young.
I don't know who it is. I can't tell. Let's just figure it out together.
No place to run.
Let's see. Duarte. Gustavo Duarte.
Duarte.
And somebody will probably correct me later that it's probably not him. Venomized 4, of course, Thanos from another universe has been poisoned.
Damn.
Bagley, connecting cover for 4. And then I got lucky with this one today. Venomized 4, the Deodato variant.
Cool.
Let's see. Venom 165. And let's see. Then the variant for 165. Then countdown number 2. I still haven't read this one. I still need to read this one. And then the Granoff, Ivan Granoff variant covers.
Nice.
I love these, how they're doing those. Tales of Suspense 105. Moon Knight 194. This is getting crazy. I mean, he's already schizophrenic already, you know. This is getting even worse because this is the first book after the last saga where he fought his dad. So it's, yeah. I don't know what Bemis is thinking. Old Man Hawkeye. This is a really cool read. I really like this. This is the prequel to Old Man Logan, you know. Oh yeah, Mighty Thor 706.
Yeah.
This is the remembrance issue they're gonna have an annual, I think, too, for it. So definitely pick those up. Let's see, Doctor Strange 388 from Damnation. Iron Fist 80 from Damnation. Damnation number 4. And then this is kind of, I guess, the epilogue, since 4 is the last issue, but it's Doctor Strange 389. So I still have to go find 2 of the issues. I have to find Iron Fist 79 and then the Ghost Rider one. Mine never got them. So looks like I'm going to Midtown for those.
Where have you read? Where are you at? Have you read up to issue 3?
No, because I don't have Ghost Rider yet.
Okay, yeah, I need to buy Ghost Rider just because I read number 4 just now. I gotta read it.
Yeah, that's because it's like way before that.
Yeah.
All right, so Hunt for Wolverine, number 1. The black and white variant.
Damn it.
The Torque variant. The Deodato variant.
Damn.
Of course, the Young Guns one. And then the blank variant. You know what I'm doing with this one now. That's going straight to Charles Soule and those guys to do some sketching. Oh,
Damn right.
now that took care of Marvel. This is DC and Independent.
Good Lord, man.
Well, it was 2 weeks. Damage. So I read the first 4 issues, and this sucks. Don't waste your money on Damage. I mean, it seemed like a good idea being a spinoff from it, but I'll tell you, it's not worth it. I asked for a refund. They wouldn't give me one.
So you bought another issue?
Huh?
So you bought another issue?
No, that was the last one. I mean, because I usually go 3 or 4 issues just because the first issue typically is always, they don't have anything developed yet, So I got to that one. I'm like, all right, no more on the pull list. Let's see. Dead Man number 6, F6, the last issue. Now, if you're going to read one, read this one. Terrifics. This has been a phenomenal story from DC. Demon number 6, the last issue of the series. Batman and the Signal, 3 of 3. I hope they make this into an actual real series, though. I love seeing the Duke Everett story. We're going to try it. We'll see how this one goes. This is number 1, Immortal Men. Let's see. Cyberforce number 2. Of course, Redneck number 12. I want the variant though. Did you all see the variant cover for this one?
No.
It's like a cosmic redneck. It's literally it says legacy on the top of it, and it's literally the old man in a wheelchair. We're like I was like, damn it, I want that one. Mine only got 1 copy of it, and I was like, no.
The grandpa in his wheelchair on this guy.
Yep.
I'll try to find a picture of that.
Yeah, and then let's see. All right. Action Comics 1000, the Jim Lee. I got 2 copies of it. One's for somebody else who he doesn't have an LCS within 100 miles of him. So I said, dude, what do you want? And he said, I want a copy. I said, I'll get it for you. And they're everywhere. I mean, literally, mine was still stacked with all the variants.
Yeah.
I got of course, the 30s variant. The 40s. The 50s. 60s. You kind of see where this is going. The 70s. The 80s.
That curling head.
90s. I love the 90s, comics because I love Dan Jurgens, He was one of my favorite dudes back then. The sickest cover out of all of them, though, is this one from the 2000.
Yeah.
I love how they did that. And then, of course, a variant 1000 blank cover. So, yeah, that was DC and that one. Let's see, where's the rest?
The 90s one didn't have a mullet on it?
Huh?
The 90s one didn't have the mullet Superman on it?
No. I think there was probably some discussion about that one. Saying, should we do it? Should we do it in the black suit?
Mullet.
All right. Power Rangers Shattered Grid 26. And then the variant.
Nice.
This came out today. The Shattered Grid Annual.
I saw that.
Let's see. I got some back issues in finally. Go Power Rangers number 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. And 7. So I've got everything up through 8 already. The ironic part, I still need to find the number 1 for that one. So if you guys see number 1 of Go, let me know. I do need that. And then I got, because I wasn't going to go do all the back issues, I bought some trades. You'd be proud of me. This is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Volume 1. I think this is issue like 0 through 4. And then this one just came out today, number 5. This, of course, is the predecessor to Shattered Grid. I'm still waiting on volumes 2, 3, and 4 to come in.
Okay.
And then I can actually read the series because
Right.
that's the one thing I don't like reading, like in the middle of something, not understanding what the hell's going on, you know. Okay, time to take off Kyle time.
Is this gonna be like a weekly thing now?
Maybe. um, I don't know. These are kind of cool. These are I only got these. These are $1 each.
Oh.
Um, I just like. I mean, it's like freaking awesome. This is the coolest cover out of all of them, though.
Well,
Okay, now we're really gonna take off Kyle. Wow.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
This Batman 229 signed by Neil 7-0. And you see that little price there? I don't know
Yeah,
if you can see it.
I'm sure as we speak, Neil Adams' lawyers are trying to get you a fee of $35, and you'll be receiving an invoice in the mail shortly.
I didn't even pay a third of that price for this book.
dog.
Now this last book, this is what I was opening. This is what I really wanted to show everybody. This is something you will not see hardly ever. Okay, this is a very old book. Okay.
Nice.
Oh, I've got that one. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I've got 3.
Yeah. Justice League number 9. Keep on trying.
I have one in the bathroom as my personal time reader. I have one in the basement as my everyday reader. I have one in the smoking room with my smoking jacket. That's my high class reader.
I never thought I'd see something that close because, of course, I'm looking for number 1, number 2. I have 5 through 8 already. So it's like I'm trying to build that first 10 setup. But yeah, and that's how much.
Man. I can't see it.
There you go.
$24.
Oh, well, damn.
Can't beat that.
It's worth 6 times the amount of that. So.
Right.
But yeah, and I got this for Chad today.
Okay.
So we'd already talked about box isn't meant, but I know Chad takes them out too, like you were saying. So just like I do.
Yeah.
So when I ship out your books, BJ, once I get everything in, I'll shoot all the books and the toys together.
All right. I'm still on the lookout for Triptychon over here in Ollie's. So.
Yep. I need the one, especially when they only $12 to $15.
Yep.
Especially they retail for $150.
Yep. I'll be buying them all.
You're gonna be that guy. I'm gonna buy them all and just start shipping them out. Merry Christmas, Happy birthday, all in one shot. It's gonna cost you more for the shipping than the actual toy is.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I got a lot more stuff, but that's gonna go on probably my first video I've done in 2 weeks for my channel. I got a lot of unboxings to do for comics too. Some things that you'll like, and you probably be like, you're gonna shake your head at why didn't Nate buy it, but it's things I like,
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything I got for the night. So one last thing, Kyle. Initial reactions to the movie, no spoilers. Is it worth going to see?
Oh, hell yes. My initial reaction is that is the best Marvel movie they've ever done.
Whoa. Uh,
and I mean that. I mean that like in all sincerity. Like I love Civil War. I love Winter Soldier. The more I watch Spider-Man: Homecoming, I think that one may be my favorite like Marvel movie. Uh, Leaving that theater, like it's just so well done. I'll be very honest with you. It is long. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes, but it doesn't feel that way. And one of the coolest things that they do is the story is always moving forward. Because I mean they've been building up to this for what 16 years. Uh,
Yeah.
so I mean you don't get
mhm.
really backstory. It just always keeps moving forward. It moves forward in such a way that's I mean it's almost brilliant the way that they tie everything in and some of the throwbacks to the old movies and like things happen and like you think back to the old movies and you're like this is what like this like you see how it all built up and it was just I mean it's crazy how much they have going on and how well they put it all together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's just some of the actions like the action is unbelievable. The fights are fantastic. The only thing I will say is I laughed a lot more than I expected to. The humor is very organic, and the character interactions is fantastic, especially when some of them first meet. But yeah, so that was the only thing that surprised me is I expected it to be very dark, which there are elements that are extremely dark, but the humor really surprised me. But yeah, no, fantastic film. Yeah, I can't wait for everybody to see it to where we can actually talk about it.
Definitely. Now, I'm going to ask the question that probably everybody wants to know. Did anybody significant die in the movie?
That's not saying a word. Other than there was this character named Jar Jar. He was in it for about 10 minutes. He
Fried
he
Gorgon.
died. He died pretty quickly, and then there's this character named Bruce Wayne who like doubled as his Batman. He showed up at one point, which was completely out. I mean, just completely out of nowhere. He met his end pretty quickly as well. Oh, but
Awesome.
so be on. Okay, so I did not catch this until the credits, but there is something I so insanely dumb that I cannot believe they put it in it. It has nothing to do with the movie. It has nothing to do with like any of the story, anything like that. It's I don't know why it's in there, but I didn't notice it until the end credits where they actually give credit for something, and then I had immediately like went back and I'm like, what in the world are they talking about? But there's a cameo in it that is so insanely dumb that it's almost as dumb as the things I'm talking about, saying Batman and Fairbanks is in it. So I'm curious to see if anybody else picks up on that. But it's a split second. I don't know how unless you knew it was there. Uh, I don't know how you pick up on it, but yeah, I saw them giving credits in the credit to something, and I was like, "Where in the world was that?" And sure enough, it is in there.
That's awesome. I mean, like I said, I'm excited to see it too. I can't wait to see it. I mean, it is a culmination of all these years together. Um, I just hope they could breed the freaking X-Men into it soon. I mean, I really do. I hope we can bring the X-Men, the Fantastic Four into the fold, make it one Marvel universe with everything in it. But yeah, I'm just ticked off
And
the New Mutants got delayed for so long.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
curious about that. I wonder why they did delay that one. I don't know if they are going to try to put Deadpool in it. Um, I mean, that seems to be the big rumor going around online, but I don't know. I think if you do that, that ruins the tone of what it looked like they were going for with that movie.
Yeah.
I actually hope Deadpool's not in it. I really do,
Right.
because I'm with you. Because I mean, this was really supposed to be about the Demon Bear, and how we got everybody together. And if they bring magic actually into the series the right way, Colossus's daughter or Colossus's sister, then we just expanded that universe a lot. Because now we can go start doing Inferno with X-Men.
Right.
That can bring in the Mr. Sinister. That can bring in, Madeline Pryor. That can bring in everything. We still don't know how Dark Phoenix is going to be either. We don't know, hey, does she die and become a Dark Phoenix? Or because in the last apocalypse, she already had the power. It wasn't like, a cosmic entity came down. She already had that level of power in her.
Right.
So I hope they don't put Deadpool. If anything, what they should do is maybe bring Tech Anarchy or Warlock in, something like that, to give a more substantial New Mutants feel, you
Right.
know. I know BJ's a huge New Mutants fan, so what's your thoughts, man?
I thought they were just trying to add Warlock to the movie, so I don't want Deadpool in it. I don't want Cable in it either. Not yet. This is like you said, it's the Demon Bear version, and this is way before that even happens. It's still Charles Xavier's, um, you know, students as well. Uh, I don't know. Maybe because with the contract coming in with Fox getting bought by Disney, they might they might put somebody else in there from the Marvel universe to help out.
Well, if anything, put Legion in there, you know, because Legion was technically was right after Demon Bear, lead up to
Hmm.
Legion and have it be the same guy who plays Legion in the actual series from FX.
Yeah. Um, maybe Shadow, maybe Kitty Pryde because she's in there right after that series too, right after Legion too. That'd be cool. Kind of like bring those in with the X-Men. Probably maybe put them into the X-Men to put them into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Boom! Look at that.
Oh, I think what's going to happen is it's going to be one of those damn scenarios like the Beyonder or Secret Wars or something stupid like that, where they have this big multiverse connection and they say, "Oh, there's this another Marvel universe over here. Let's bring these X-Men in to come play a game." And then, oh crap, they combine all the Earths together, and then that's how we have it all combined, you know.
Hmm.
Oh,
Because we've already had the
Yeah.
Collector, we've already had the Game Master. The only person we haven't had is the Beyonder yet. And what they need to do is start bringing in the bigger people. They already brought in Ego with Guardians last time. Bring in the Living Tribunal. Bring in Eternity. Infinity. Those kind of people. I mean, when I think about Infinity War, I think about Warlock and Magus. I don't think about Thanos, because Infinity War Avengers movie that looks like Thanos Quest to me more than anything, where Thanos was looking for all the Infinity Gems, and they were looking for that. Gauntlet was where he fought Warlock. Warlock won and kept all the gems. And then he split himself up into two, into Goddess and into Magus. That was
Oh.
Infinity War, Warlock versus Magus. Infinity Crusade was Warlock versus Goddess, you know, to make sure she doesn't destroy everything. And then after that, he got put back into the Soul Gem for 20 years, you know, until Infinity Countdown.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's one of those things. I knew seeing the title Avengers Infinity War, I knew it would not be the Magus. I knew it wouldn't be that. It would not be close to it. And seeing the trailers, it looks like it's Thanos Quest more than Infinity War.
That's fine.
And Kyle, don't say a damn word because I know you already saw it.
I'm not
Oh, is there a scene at the end of the credits though? Can we hear that?
like. I mean, it's a Marvel movie. There's always a scene at the end of the credits.
All right, cool.
But is there like
It's
three or like five or
no,
like two or like one?
no. There's one big one, and it's a lot longer than most because normally they're only like what 30 seconds long.
Hmm.
This one's about five. This one's about 5 minutes, and it's not until at the very end. So there's nothing like post actor. Um, it's not until after all the credits roll, and the credits are about 15, 20, 20 minutes long with how many people worked on this freaking movie.
Hmm.
Definitely. Now you think about it, if it's 15, 20 minutes for the credits, hell, that's a 3 hour movie.
I mean, it really is. But see, that's the thing. Like, I mean, the credits are extremely long. So, like, the movie itself is probably honestly only 220, maybe 230. Um, and that was a funny thing. Like going, like watching the credits, like it was just like there was like I bet you there was at least 20 visual effects houses that worked on this movie, and they all had 200-300 people each. Um, but I mean that's the thing and that's the biggest thing for me with like Justice League. Like I know this is comparing two movies that really shouldn't be compared, but if you look at Justice League and you look at Infinity War, like Infinity War looks real. Like there was never a part. There was actually times when I looked at Thanos and was like, that's CGI. Like everything about it just looked realistic. Whereas there was times in Justice League with Steppenwolf where I'm sitting there and I'm like, this looks like crap. But I think that's like where like and I think that's where DC is still far behind because Marvel only does special effects. Like now this one is extremely special effects heavy. Just because I mean it does center a lot around Thanos and he's fully CGI. Spider-Man's mainly CGI. A lot of that, but you could tell there's practical effects when they could. Whereas I feel like Justice League and a lot of the DC movies, they just go straight CGI, but it seems like they hire like kids straight out of film school. So like that was the other big thing is like I was mesmerized with how good this movie looks. And I think that has a lot to do with the Russo brothers. I mean, you look at Civil War and how amazing that movie was as far as like action sequences and things like that. This just kicks it up even further.
Well, it's like everybody forgets Thor and how much effects they had to do in the first Thor movie. I
Yep.
mean, you look at that Rainbow Bridge and how they did that. It looks amazing when you see it.
Yep.
And when he shatters it, a million pieces, with his hammer, and it's like, okay, that took a lot of work, and that's not just one person drawing it. That's probably 10, 20 people doing
Oh
that.
yeah.
Because there was effects like, hey, the energy was coming through it, so somebody's got to do that. Somebody's got to do the coloring. Somebody's got to do the lighting.
Yep.
So I mean, it's a lot of work doing these kind of movies. And I agree, though, DC needs to kick it up a lot. They need to start doing some more practical effects. I mean,
Yep.
oh God, I mean, Aquaman whatever writing whatever that did not look real. Come on. Um, uh no, but it is Zack Snyder too. So remember
Yeah.
that in the background. So Zach's got a certain way he does movies, So if it's not done like his thoughts are, you can tell, and you can tell the big difference when Zack Snyder stepped down for the rest of the
Oh yeah.
last part of Justice League. You
Yep.
can see like, holy crap, this could have been an awesome movie if Whedon had did the whole thing,
Yep.
you know. Um, but that proves it though, is that Snyder needs to let somebody else take over these movies. He
Yep.
really does,
I
Let
Yeah.
Jeff
I've
Johns
always
just run it.
sorry was that BJ?
Oh no, I totally agree. Um,
Uh,
just so I think Snyder needs to just start doing other movies just like out of the ordinary, like Sucker Punch. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I loved it. Um, 300, Watchmen, just out of the ordinary ones, and not stick to something that people know a lot about and everything too.
Yeah, my whole take on Snyder has always been the dude. He he has an eye like nobody else's business. Like if you want an insanely cool like looking shot, he's the guy you call. But he cannot
Hmm.
tell a cohesive story to save his life. Uh,
Mm-mm.
even Sucker Punch. Like I actually really enjoyed that movie too, but it was all for the visuals and the fight sequences. It wasn't so like the story, in my opinion, was an absolute mess. And
Yeah,
I don't think that was the story. I think that was his inability to tell the story through what the pictures he was showing. Um, and I think that's where he really loses me a lot of times. 300 was probably the only one that probably told a somewhat cohesive story. But yeah, that's always been my take on him. Amazing, like if he was just doing like principal photography and setting up shots and things like that, let him do that all day long, as long as someone else is writing and editing it all together. Uh, and I think that's where Whedon came in and helped Justice League just a little bit. But I do think that movie was too much. Snyder had already got his hand in it too much to kind of save it fully. I mean, Justice League isn't bad. it is what it is. I've watched it twice now since it's come out on Blu-ray, and it's fine for time killer.
Well, it's like I actually really liked Watchmen. I loved his adaptation of Watchmen, especially the Ultimate Cut where it had the Tales of the Black Freighter as part of the storyline. That was exactly, I mean, he was almost line by line storyline with the book. Alan Moore even said he was the only person Alan Moore said, I want to do my movie as Scott Snyder,
Right.
you know. And Alan Moore hates DC. He hates everybody. But this was one of those few times where he did an adaptation of a good story, and then it produced great. A lot of people didn't like Watchmen, and the reason why is because it was an 80s comic book, that was really satirical. There was a lot of stuff in it. Henceforth, why I bought that box set, a month or two ago, because I love Watchmen and I love the Doomsday Clock because it's got the Watchmen in it again. But it's one of those stories that he was able to actually tell it with that dark and gritty look. It worked perfectly with Watchmen. 300, that's awesome. The sequel, that was great. That was the only three movies I really cared for. Sucker Punch, I could not understand what the hell was going on in the movie at all. It's like I remember I went and watched Man of Steel in theater, and I'm like, okay, they're on Krypton, now they're on Earth, now they're back here, now they're here. I'm like, good God, just make a story where I understand. Like, if you're gonna do the flashback sequence, do all that at once.
Right.
Explain. Hey, Zod left. Planet Krypton at this point. I don't need to know. Oh shit, no, he's been here forever. It's like no. Um, that drives me up the wall. But with Watchmen, it makes sense because that's kind of how the story was. It was kind of everywhere but it was cohesive because it was telling the story as you went through it.
Right.
And remember, Watchmen was told from the perspective of Rorschach and the history that happened. So it's like, he's already crazy and nuts. So of course it makes sense.
Right.
Well, it's back. But yeah, I'm with you. Scott Snyder, no more movies, dude. No more. All right. So we beat that dead horse for a while. So anything else, guys, before we sign off tonight? I know it's been a couple weeks. I know next week we're gonna have a lot of people want to talk about Infinity War. Um, but until you two give me the green light that everybody's seen it, we're not going to talk about it.
Yep.
So, and by the way, Kyle did put a post out today on Syndi-Comics. No spoilers allowed on our page at all. If you get caught with doing it, I will ban you. Period. And I'm not kidding. I've kicked a lot of people off the syndicate for the same reason. Um, and the reason being is that we don't want spoilers. It's not right to the people that want to actually watch it and get the experience. That's why we turned on post approvals, on the syndicate, because so much spoilers was coming out that you might as well not even go watch it. And I don't want to get to that point in Syndi-Comics where we have to do that. And everybody's been really good about it. So, like I said, just a reminder, no spoilers about the movies or any comic movies that's coming out. We've had a lot lately. We're talking about Venom, talking about, everything else coming out down the sun. Disney just put out that schedule. Ant-Man and Wasp is coming out soon too. So let's just keep it easy, keep it to where we don't have to. But like I said, I will put my foot down. You put a spoiler out there, I will ban you from Syndi-Comics. And that sounds really stupid. All right.
Yeah, they're getting banned by a comic book group, guys. Jeez.
I mean, we talk some toys, but it's like, hey, it's about the books, comics, not movies. Keep it comics. Movies help comics, of course, but hey, comics. All right, let's go around the room. Kyle, you got anything else for tonight?
Nope. The only thing, just reminder to everybody, I'm sure we'll talk about it next week too. Next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday is Free Comic Book Day. So
Oh yeah.
make sure everybody gets out. Check out your local comic book shops. They'll have a ton of free comics. So we'll post. I'm sure someone will post a link to the books that are available, and we'll talk about them next week because there's actually quite a few good ones. So just remember, next Saturday, Free Comic Book Day. You guys get out, support your local stores.
Yeah, I put the link out there I think last week, but as we get close, I want to re-put it out there again. Just keep it on the top because there's a lot of good books. And just so everybody's aware, the Shattered Grid Power Rangers that comes out is specifically for Free Comic Book Day. That is a vital portion of the story for Shattered Grid, and you can only get it on Free Comic Book Day. If so, get ready to either get it or it's going to be astronomically expensive down the road.
Yep. And did you see? Did you see? I don't know if you saw this, Brian, but or BJ, Brian K. Vaughan, his web series Borders, Images putting that out in issues, and their Free Comic Book Day is #1. So it's the oversized 62-page first issue. You can only get that Free Comic Book Day.
Well, hot damn.
Yeah,
good thing I got a 4-day weekend that day. I'm taking Friday and Monday off that weekend, so I'm gonna have a staycation. Nice. Can't wait.
Yeah, there's a lot of good books coming out. There's a lot of #1s coming out with the new Marvel Universe, the rehash for the third or fourth time this year. That's coming out. They're going to be ones, and depending on your stores, they might have exclusive stamps, on their issues as well. Some do it. I know like Midtown does it. Unknown does it. But yeah, there's a lot of those, and there'll be variants of those same issues as well. So just keep an eye out and definitely talk to your LCS. They'll let you know. They can actually let you know what they're going to get in as well because they've already ordered it. All right, BJ, what you got, brother?
And with the Free Comic Book Day, go to your LCS for it. They might have some sales as well, so hop on that, look around, get yourself some good deals. Look for some trade paperbacks, even if they got some toys on sale too. Can't wait. I just remembered that, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. They have some of the best sales on Free Comic Book Day and then Halloween Fest time. It's always the best ones. Like I think they were doing omnibuses for $25 when I picked up that X-Men one last year. Yeah, so if they come in with those kind of stuff, I'll be like, yes, please.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely support your LCS for the Free Comic Book Day here in about a week. So that's it from me, guys. We had a fun time tonight. It's 9:30 my time, which means it's late as hell up, and you guys' time on the East Coast. But it's been fun with everybody. If you guys have questions, definitely private message Kyle, BJ, myself, Rosie, Cincy. If you PM Cincy, you might not ever get a response back. He gets so much stuff because I mean him being an admin on Syndicate on there and his YouTube and his personal life. Just be patient if you need to talk to Cincy. So if you need to talk to somebody, talk to one of us three or Rosie or even George or Brock. One of us is typically around all the time. So definitely message us if you guys have any issues and bring them up to us. We'll try to help you out. So keep showing your hauls, keep showing what you got. If you have new information, put it out there too. Like we went over previews today, which is something I kind of want to do every time we get a new previews of is when books are coming out, so people can see what's coming down the road. So if you hear something, put it out. Rosie's been doing that too lately, with all those issues of books coming out, those variants and stuff like that. So he's been doing that a lot. I've been starting to get the automated emails from Unknown and from those, so you guys will see those. Same way with the comic auctions. You guys have probably seen I've been putting a lot of comic auction stuff out there. BJ's been on some of those with me, so he knows what I got. He knows about this much about what I got, so to speak.
Oh god.
Half of them are going to
and
BJ.
they're from South Carolina too, so.
But yeah, they're fun. I mean, there's something to do. If you're bored on a weekday, come on out to them as well. I'll put the links out on the Syndi-Comics if you have time. But yeah, it's been fun tonight, guys. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome all the way back to the team. And thank you, everybody that stuck with us tonight. And It's Infinity War night, so I didn't expect nobody to be here. You know, I really didn't. It's Thursday night, you know, but hey,
I didn't either.
we still had 7 people watching our show. So hey, you guys
Fantastic.
are awesome. So, all right, this has been Redneck from Cali, Nate, Kyle, and BJ, and we're all signing off. Thank you guys.
Hey, see you guys.
Good,
All right,
good night.
good night.